Hi everyone. Happy Valentine's Day to all of you. I hope that you're having a wonderful Valentine's Day if you are watching it on this day, or just a wonderful day in general if it is another day of the year. This video is a very special book review. It is a book that I bought about 1.5 to 2 years ago, and I selected it specifically for this holiday. And the title of this book is The Witch's Heart: The Magic of Perfect Love and Perfect Trust, and it was written by Christopher Penczak, who's a very popular author. Now, I wanted to select this book because I also did a book review in regards to love, but it was on a religious slant. But some people aren't that religious, so I decided to go another route as well, so I can satisfy both parties, because you can learn about love from all sorts of sources if you wish. I have not only read this Christopher Penczak book, I have maybe 2 or 3 more of his other books, and he's a pretty good author. Today for Valentine's Day, I decided to be pretty festive. I wore my heart-shaped earrings, which were made by my friend. I decorated a hat that I had put on the mannequin at work, but I wanted to wear it today. I also got presents from my mommy. She gave me a Happy Valentine's Day balloon. She gave me some candy. She gave me I guess this is a Moana doll. I don't know. She just keeps giving me dolls. So this is one doll that she gave me. And then this is another doll that she gave me. I feel like his eyes are watching me move, so he looks very serious, like a very serious farmer. So he's gonna just lay in my lap or lay on the floor next to this other doll. But yeah, it was a nice little Valentine's Day. I got to speak to some people today. I met a lot of couples, and we were talking about love and all sorts of different vibes. I think that with this book, you will get some nice metaphysical advice on how to attract love in your life, how to become more love-based, and also what to do to heal from a broken heart. So before I get into this book, let me share with you a little bit about the author, Christopher Penczak. It says, Christopher Penczak is a modern witch working in the Temple of Witchcraft tradition and community he helped co-found as a writer, teacher, and minister. His practice focuses on the intersection of love, will, and wisdom as an ethos for today's witch, and focuses on relationships with the plant realm, the patterns of astrology, traditional occultism, and the use of trance in the craft. He is the author of many books, including the award-winning Temple of Witchcraft series, The Plant Spirit Familiar, and The Mighty Dead, as well as the co-owner of Copper Cauldron Publishing. The Temple of Witchcraft offers in-person and online mystery school and seminary training based upon his teachings. There's actually there's a metaphysical store in my city called Pathways, and they would annually do one of his classes, but you had to sign up in December in order to start in January, because you couldn't just sign up at last minute. It all had to be prepared. They also used to do a lot of Sabbats as well, but that's where I first heard of that series, through them. And he has Inner Temple of Witchcraft, Outer Temple of Witchcraft. He also has a book on Reiki, different things. So he was born in Lawrence, Massachusetts in 1973. He was raised in an Italian-Polish family in Salem, New Hampshire. He grew up Catholic and then became agnostic, struggling with the intersection of his spirituality and queer sexuality. He initially pursued an interest in chemistry, stemming from the childhood fascination with alchemy and herbalism. As a youth, he had an out-of-body experience passing out in a 4th grade class, but observing the whole scene in spirit from above the room. And it just goes on and talks about his life, how he came to be in this, I guess, arena of magic. He's also married to his partner. I can't remember what his husband's name is, but he has a post about him on there. So yeah, that's a little bit about Christopher Penczak. If you want to find out more about him, you can go visit his website. He has all of his books there, some blog posts, and you can also find him on YouTube where he's being interviewed by people or interviewing others. It's very, very, very informative. You can find a lot of information on him. Unlike some authors where I have to scour the internet to just find 2 facts about them. I selected this book, but this was not my first selection that I wanted to do for Valentine's Day. I actually wanted to do this one, but I felt like it was kind of too risque, so we'll save that for next time. We'll save that for next time, sometime this year. But this book was published in the year, let me see, was that, no, hold on, it just says 2021, but no, 2011, so 2021 was the 7th printing. This book is maybe 13 years old, about 13 years old this book is. Perfect number. At the beginning of the book, he has a sigil. This is the sigil. The cover sigil is formed from 5 hearts rotated to the 5 directions, creating a heart pentagram. 5 is strongly associated with Venus and love in traditional magic, while 7, for the 7-pointed star in the center, is associated Kabbalistically with Venus. The hearts create a flower petal design that resonates with the nature magic imagery of the book, and it was designed by Christopher Penczak. So this is a sigil. If you want to take a screenshot of it to focus on, you can. It also has a list of his other books. As you can see, he's a very well-written author. Chapter 1. What's love got to do with it? So chapter 1 basically breaks down what love is. He talks about the different types of love. Love, at least from what I know in Western culture, we use love, the word love, loosely. I'll be like, I love these cookies. I love Kit Kats. I love going to the park. I love my friends. I love my mom. Well, which type of love? Because I love all of these things differently. The type of love that I have for my relative is different than the type of love I would have for chocolate, or that I would have for like a romantic partner, or if I had a child, my child. It's going to be different, but it's still an aspect of love. It says, when doing any form of magic, if you expect success in your working, you should have a clear understanding of your magical goals. If you are going to attempt any love magic, you should probably have a thorough understanding of love. What is love? How would you define it? If you can't describe what you want, it's hard to get with magic. Yet for most of us, love is an ineffable concept. For a magician, the word love in English is an imprecise term. Other cultures with a better understanding of love have different terms for different kinds of love. I think it's good to start off figuring out exactly what love is, all of the definitions, because some people think that love is a toxic thing. Their aspect or viewpoint of love is actually very toxic. Some people view being controlled or in a controlling relationship as love, and that's not love, but that's all they know in regards to relationships, and that's their interpretation. So expanding your mind, learning about all the different types of love, can also reveal to you what relationships you don't want in your life. So the first love is Eros, which is sexual or romantic love. Eros was a divine force for life, usually paired with Thanatos, the death force, and personified into the son of Aphrodite, giving us the first image that would later develop into our popular notion of Valentine's Cupid. The next one is phileo, to have affection, not necessarily in a sexual sense. It can refer to the love that comes with the sense of brotherhood. So think of William Penn, who was a Quaker and I guess started Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. Agape, a word rarely used in ancient manuscripts, but when it denoted family or spousal love of a particular activity. Sometimes it was used in reference to divinity, as it was used in a Greek title for the goddess Isis, Agape Theon, beloved of the gods, and later adopted by Christians to denote Christ's divine, unconditional, voluntary, self-sacrificing love. I guess growing up in a Christian setting, always associated it with Christianity, even though it probably wasn't like originally Christianity, because you still have Christian sects that will be like agape fest, agape this, agape that, so they'll just associate it with the love of God. So that's my definition. Agape is like love of God, but I mean it's more expansive than that. Stergo, I don't know if it's Sturgo or Sturgo, a parental love used for the love of a parent for children, or the love a ruler has for his people. Stergo is how some people see religious or divine love from a parental divinity. Then, if you make that your focus, regardless of what purpose you are casting a spell for, it will manifest and return to you with the qualities of divine love. Sometimes, if you're having a difficult time manifesting love, I would suggest that you join a group that is also working on manifesting love. One group that I'm in on my secret Facebook spy page is the Kleem group, where they chant the mantra Kleem. I don't chant Kleem that often. Kleem, where is my cup? Oh my goodness. Hold up. Oh well. I actually had a mug that had Kleem on it, but it attracts what you love, but it also clears out karma. So sometimes joining a group with that energy will bring what you want faster to you. Preparing for love. 1 second, I gotta go get my plug. Okay, I'm back. I had to go get my plug, and I also went to show you, this is my mug that I made with the mantra Kleem. So, attract love. Name it and claim it. But anyway, preparing for love. In most traditions of magic, one must be prepared for the magic. In some Wiccan and ceremonial traditions, there are rites of preparation and purification before performing a ritual. One might take a ritual bath, be smudged in an incense smoke, meditate to clear the mind, or be scourged to purify the spirit. That makes a lot of sense because you want to clear yourself of excess spiritual gunk before that excess spiritual gunk gets into your working. So, for example, before you can mop the floors, you must sweep. Before you can sweep the floors, you must get all of the stuff off of the floor in order to sweep the floor, or else you'll just be sweeping continuously and excessively because there's stuff on the floor. You know? Before you can heal the wound, you have to clean out the wound first so that it can heal and you can bandage it. So just think of it in that type of example. In order to do your working, get the spiritual gunk out so it will not go into your spell. You don't go to bed in dirty clothes. You take a shower or a bath. You put on your pajamas. Now you're clean in your bed. If you go into your bed with outside clothes, you're bringing the outside into your sleeping, and that's just not fun. In forms of folk magic and cunning craft, there is not the same amount of ritual preparation, yet the practitioner becomes prepared, open, and aligned with forces of magic through gathering herbs and other ingredients and walking through nature. I once heard a story of a woman who could heal people of various diseases, but she was also addicted to, I don't know which drug it was, but it was a serious drug. So before she could actually go out and heal the people, she would take a break from her drugs in order to cleanse her spirit and her body so that she could perform the working. Love magic is the same as any magic. You must be prepared for it. Love magic is some of the most experimental magic. Many people pick up a spell book with no prior knowledge and training in magic and not looking at the complete instructions. Flip to a spell and do it. When it doesn't work, they assume magic is silly or deceptive and chalk the whole experience up to a wild lark that didn't amount to anything. I'm sure many people will do the same with this book. He mentions in this chapter how some of the workings don't affect the target, it just affects the caster. And I've had that experience before where I've sent something and it only increases the love or obsession inside of me and has really no effect on the person, or it'll draw the person to me, but it's not a genuine love thing. It's just lust or something, or they just want attention for that time, if that makes any sense. Other times it's my working won't work immediately. It'll happen years later when I don't even want the person anymore. I've done so many honey jars on different people, or like different dudes, and I've lost interest, and all of a sudden they've gained interest. I don't know. Probably because I detached from the situation. Because now I just don't want them anymore. I don't find them attractive anymore. Not like when I was putting so much energy into the working. And that's okay, because things change. Like attracts like. One of the basic magic principles is like attracts like. In our spell work, we use magical correspondences, colors, scents, herbs, and stones. There's one book that's really, really good, and I cannot remember. It was called Correspondences. It's really thick, and it has so many correspondences. If you don't have this herb, you can use that herb in place of it. Different things. The qualities of the items denote their signature. Based on the principle known as the doctrine of signatures, it's as if Mother Nature has signed everything with little instructions in the item's shape, form, and quality to tell you how it may be used in magic and medicine. You see this with different herbs. You might have, let's say, mandrake root, and that one is used for love spells on mostly men, but on people because it's shaped like a human being. Other plants are shaped like phallic symbols, and they're used, or other crystals and different things are shaped like phallic symbols, and other forms of anatomy, reproductive anatomy, and those are incorporated in the spells as well. You wouldn't want to use something like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, spoiled milk for a love spell. Now, if you are trying to break up somebody, then you could use spoiled milk to spoil up their relationship. But if you're actually trying to draw a person to you, you usually don't want to use things that are spoiled or herbs that will banish, like get parasites out. You don't want to use that because that's pushing the person away. You want to use something that's sweet. Honey is sweet, roses, jasmine flowers, different perfumes, different fragrances. You don't put on an onion to go out and meet your partner or to attract somebody. It's not going to work. You put on things that smell nice so that their scent will be drawn to you. Who's going to come to you with an onion or garlic? Then you're a vampire. I see why vampires run away from garlic, but vampires might be the metaphysical version of parasites because garlic cleanses your system and helps with inflammation and stuff. So, I'm just saying, think with your head and you will innately, intuitively know which crystals, which herbs and things to use for your working. Flowers, pretty sparkly things, sweet things like sugar, honey, stevia, agave nectar, monk fruit, all sorts of things. Letting go. A second principle of magic is that we must let go of our intentions before they can manifest. The more we doubt and worry because we are anchored in a place of need, the more we sabotage our spell until it no longer works. Like a magical leech, we have drained it, and when it no longer has any energy, it dissipates, and our spell never reaches function. An example that I use when I'm telling people about this is a baby. When a woman is pregnant. If we go, God forbid, like, I don't know, we go in unnecessarily and do a C-section just to go take a look at the baby for no particular reason, it's going to bring harm to the baby. The baby's not done developing yet. We know it's growing. We know it's forming. We can see it in the ultrasound, if you believe in ultrasounds, but there's other ways to like check the health of the baby without an ultrasound, but those are going into other forms of medicine that aren't Western, but there are ways, especially if you have a Qigong master that can use their x-ray vision, but that's a whole nother topic for another day. But if we rush the process and we're so anxious to see this baby before it's time to come out, we're only going to bring it harm. Whereas if the baby stays for too long, it's going to end up hurting the mother. The baby will come at the time that it's supposed to come. The baby will arrive in its proper timing. Unless something's wrong and we have to intervene, most things take its course in its own designated divine timing. If we were staying in our mother for like 20 years, that's going to kill us and our mother. We can't live that long inside of a person. There's even women that have had a baby that have, like, they never gave birth to it. It was stillborn and it was causing their illness. So when you think of it, use this example as for your spell. Let your baby grow and then let your baby go. Let your baby grow in its own divine timing, and then when it comes time, let it go. You know that it's coming. You know that it will be due. Just be patient. If you rush it, it will cause damage and chaos unnecessarily. Don't spoil your own feast. I had one friend who sought magical training specifically to do a love spell. I give him credit for trying, though so much of his training was done with only his love spell goal in mind. He missed out on a lot of other deeper, personally fulfilling experiences of spiritual education. So he did the love spell correctly. He worked an odd shift job that left time little time to socialize during the week like me, and on the weekend he stayed home watching television and movies in his boxers. He joked that unless his dream girl delivered pizza, there was no way he was going to meet her. If you do a love spell, you have to be open to dates, personal ads, going to clubs, and being social with friends who have single friends. You have to make yourself available. I'm trying to make myself available, but it's kind of hard. If I'm not working, I'm by myself or I'm home. If I'm out and about, I'm by myself. I'm shopping by myself. I'm having fun by myself. I'm always alone, usually. And then I'm at home. And so that type of energy that I'm manifesting is, oh, she's alone. Well, let's just keep her being alone because that's where she's most comfortable. Until I become uncomfortable or until I make space for the person to come, there's literally not going to be any space. There might have to be some things that you do in order to bring this person to you. You might have to relocate. You might have to change some of the habits. You might have to start thinking in pairs. There's so many changes. Sometimes we get used to being by ourselves and we only just think about ourselves. But when we have a partner, after a long time of not having one, it's almost a shocker that we have to change. Like, oh, this person is here. I also have to think about their wants and needs. Wow. Are you ready for that? Are you willing to be selfless and open yourself up to being vulnerable with another person who hopefully will also be vulnerable with you? Are you ready for that? A lot of us aren't. Okay. It just talks about love and fear. It has mirror affirmations, and this is just chapter 1. It talks about healing and everything. Let's go. Okay, it talks about the ethics of love, lust, and romance magic. That's a whole nother... I'm going to skip that because that's just too long for me. But you can read it yourself. I think it'd be a good chapter to really show you your styles of loving and where you are going on a easy path, a right path, and where you might be going in a direction that isn't serving you. I think reading that chapter on your own would help. Chapter 4 is the quest for love. And this is essentially seeking love using the tarot. So he explains all the different tarot cards that you can use, that they represent. How I translate this is Hand of God. This one is like an oath. This is the 2 of Cups. Cups are like emotions, water, deep thinking, intuition. This one is celebration, the 4 of Cups. This one is the 5 of Cups, is it? No, the 4 of Cups. This is the 3 of Cups. 3 of Cups is known as the abundance card, which might make you think it belongs in the quest for security symbolized by the disc pentacle cards. Typically, 3 women are depicted drinking, cheering, and toasting, showing the relationships of platonic friends are those who are like sisters to us. You can actually use different spreads if you're new to the tarot. You can use different spreads to give you answers on what to navigate with love, asking what type of partner you would want, show the characteristics through the tarot. I used to do tarot a lot. I used to spy on people using it. I would spy on people with my old best friend, and she was she was cold at the tarot for real. But sometimes if you do use the cards enough, they'll give you their own significator, and a significator is a card that is designated for a specific person. So for example, whenever the High Priestess comes up in my readings, that means me. Because according to my numerology, that would be my card, like the 2, the High Priestess, because I'm an 11. So anytime that card shows up, it's like you. And then sometimes if I'm interested in a person, it'll show what type of character they are. Like one guy I like, he is so focused on career development. But he can also be kind of cutthroat. His card usually shows up as a King of Swords or a King of Pentacles. Because he loves money, but he also doesn't want to be trapped. He loves freedom. So those 2 cards, the tarot, designated for him, or the best way to describe him. So you can use the tarot in rituals. You can use it to give you a clue of where can you find these people? Like, where do you want to go? What do they look like? What type of quality, personality traits do they have? You can also use the tarot for timing. What season will I meet this person? Or when most likely will I meet them? Which season of my life? There's so many different methods you can do to find out information in regards to your love life. It might tell you that you need to heal from something, or be more open-minded, or get rid of old habits or develop new habits. A lot of people, when they're doing readings, there's certain cards where they're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. That means the end of our relationship. Like the Tower. A lot of people don't like the Tower cards. Some people will designate the Tower card as the breakup card. But the Tower card could mean the dismantling of the old version of your relationship and a renewal, building from scratch, because the old one sucked. So you had to build a new and better one. Other ones, like the Devil, where it's almost like bondage. I've heard mixed reviews on that card too. One card that I find for me as negative is, what is it? I don't know if it's the 7 of Cups, or I can't remember which one it is. But the person is looking at all of these different cups, and there's all of these different things in the cup. To me, that represents you're not committed, and you're always looking for different things to always chase. That, for me, that card is a player card, or they're never satisfied. They're always going to be looking for something new. So as you develop a relationship with the tarot and your readings, it'll become clearer and clearer and clearer, and you'll also develop more intuition in regards to navigating your love life or in dating. He also has a chapter on the patrons of love. I like that it's kind of diverse. He has Aphrodite from Greek mythology. He has Hecate. Inanna, Sumerian, Hathor. The cow goddess. Lakshmi, that's my girl Lakshmi. She's an Indian or Hindu goddess. Freya. I wonder if Bridget is in here. Bridget actually came to me in a dream, and I didn't even know who she was. I was having a really difficult time. This was near the end of last year, and I was just mentally having a very trying time. And she showed up in my dream and smiled at me, and I didn't even realize who it was until I woke up. She like nodded. It's some redheaded girl. Love of nature. He has a chapter where you can use different crystals to manifest your love. Some of these crystals I've used before. Some I really, really like. I also like that he has a variety of stones and not just the ones that people use over and over and over. They're like rose quartz, rose quartz, rose quartz, rose quartz, rose quartz. I personally think for love, morganite. Morganite. It's like a soulmate crystal. Rhodonite. That one, I believe, is a soulmate crystal. Moldavite. Moldavite is kind of hard to find now, and it's very expensive. But that's because Moldavite is a meteorite, so it likes to disappear. Tibetan Tektite, I don't know, but I'm just going to say it because Tibetan Tektite is also kind of like a meteorite. It'd be very protective. But let's see what crystals he says. Stones, minerals, and crystals are powerful allies in the quest and sustainment of love because their nature is solid and dependable. Each anchors a particular vibration of love and helps us to attune to it. Even in the midst of emotional upheaval and reactions, when used in magic, they can return to us our intention of love. First one is amber, and that's not a stone, it's a resin. It is generally considered male and solar in nature. It can be used to enhance any magic, and it has the ability to absorb or project energy. There's also green aventurine, which is one of my favorite stones. It's a lucky stone. You can use it to attract money, but he says it's a Venusian stone. Another one, chrysocolla, soft blue stone, chrysoprase. I need to learn more about chrysoprase. Emma Curtis Hopkins mentioned it in one of her books. Chrysoprase is a stone of spiritual protection and balance. It elevates the mood, preventing depression, and increases physical fertility. Emerald is a love stone. I love emerald. I used to have dreams about emeralds as a child. And I like to sleep with an emerald near me because it makes me feel safer at nighttime. Another, kyanite. Kyanite is a stone to remove thought forms and blockages from the energy body. That's true. I remember a long time ago when I was dating one of my exes, we had a blue kyanite, and we were in this very negative environment, and that stone got so dark. It went from bright blue to just a shadow of itself because we were surrounded by so much negative energy. So carrying that on you. Also fluorite. Fluorite is a beautiful stone. It has greens and purples and different things. You can also use ametrine. and that's citrine and amethyst combined. Similar to that. Citrine, amethyst. I don't know if it's combined, but I call it combined. Spiritual stone manifestation. You can also use citrine for manifestation, manifesting your partners. It has herbs of love. There's Adam and Eve root, which are two separate orchid roots, also known as putty root. One is considered male and the others are female. They can be bound in a pouch and given to a couple to ensure happy love and a successful marriage. I know there's some Adam and Eve root in the Haitian love oil. It's near the bottom. I usually see Adam and Eve root in a pink paper envelope. I've been trying to get Adam and Eve root for weeks at the store and they don't have it, so I'll have to order it online. Another that he doesn't mention, or maybe he does, let me go check. Okay. A Jezebel root, but that's really good if you want to attract wealthy, rich men. I don't carry Jezebel root around anymore because when I did, it was making me really, it's that type of herb. There's a thin line between sexual passion and rage because they both like generate heat. So personally, in my personal opinion, so when I was carrying Jezebel root, I was getting into a lot of arguments. I wasn't starting the arguments, people were just picking arguments with me. And the worst thing was I kept running into this girl that one of my exes cheated on me with. I had been avoiding this girl for years and years and years, and all of a sudden when I was carrying Jezebel root, I saw her everywhere. I said, you know what, let me take this home, because we both didn't want to see each other. Like, every time she sees me, she gets in her car and drives away. She's like, oh my god, it's Kiara, oh my god. I'm like, girl, what? I just gave you a meal. Okay. So, with herbs, I feel there's always a flip side, just like crystals. We have carnelian. Carnelian is a protective crystal. It's really how you charge it. I think anything that generates a heat can be for good or for bad. Just like how you have a chakra that's overstimulated. You have a healthy sacral chakra. You're like, oh, I got this creativity and all of that. You have an overstimulated sacral chakra, then you're just over here and over there. You're free love for all, out of control, unbridled sexuality. So it really depends. You have to have balance. But this is my personal opinion. Angelica. Angelica is used in protection magic to align yourself with the realm of angels and to break harmful, unwanted energies. I think Dong Quai, which is Chinese Angelica, could be good for women. I mean, it's already good for the reproductive system, but I feel using it in your working, especially if you're a woman or trying to tap into feminine energy, would be helpful. And every time I read about a story about Angelica, it's always the same thing. There was a plague and an angel came down and said, take this herb for the plague. Apricot. Apricots can be used in all manners of love spells, as their juice makes any working more sweet. They also have association with androgyny and diversity, mixing the flavors of peach and plum. So they can be used, I guess, in LGBTQ magic, he says. I personally would not eat any apricot kernels. Please don't. They're high in B17. Some people take it because they are suffering from specific illnesses. But if you are suffering from that specific illness, just take one or two. Because if you take too much, it can physically harm you. is high in B17. Let's see. Bay leaves. Bay is a solar and masculine herb. You can write your wish on a bay leaf and burn it. Just write your wish on a bay leaf and burn it. They represent victory. Christina Evolved. She popularized for me a lot of bay leaf burnings. She was the first YouTuber I would watch for her bay leaf burnings, and she had even started a group too. But check out her channel, Christina Evolved, if you haven't. She's really neat. So yeah, he just goes into, oh, catnip. Catnip you can use in workings to draw them to you, just like how a cat is like, oh my gosh, it's catnip, I'm going crazy. You can use that. Cinnamon, also associated with the goddess Oshun. So there's a lot of really good herbs in here that you can use. Love spells and charms. Ooh, circle magic. Petition spells. Petition spells are simply written statements that are burned in a cauldron or other flame-proof vessel in the magic circle. They are petitions to the gods and the universe in clear and concise words for exactly what you desire. Here's where your previously created list of qualities will come in handy. So you have to write down the list of qualities you want in a person. And you can start off your petition with this. I, and you say your name, ask in the name of the goddess God and the Great Spirit to immediately grant me a blank, so a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a partner, or something, a husband, a wife, who is correct and good for me between the ages of blank and blank, who is intelligent, attractive, and spiritual. I thank the goddess God and Great Spirit and ask this be for the highest good, harming none, so mote it be. That's pretty cool. Love potions are the most famous form of magic. A potion is an herbal preparation that stores a magical charge, and it can be a spell in and of itself, with a specific intention for a specific user, or a tool made with an open intention. Love in a general sense. He has templates for how to make certain oils, a recipe for Venus oil, 14 drops almond base, 3 drops myrtle oil, 2 drops yarrow oil, 2 drops rose geranium oil, 2 drops palmarosa oil, and 2 drops ylang ylang oil, 1 drop bergamot mint oil, and 1 drop rose absolute. If you want to learn about more oils, I also have a book in my book collection that has recipes for so many oils. Like you could make hundreds of oils, almost thousands of oils. I think it's 1,001 recipes of magical oils. Some people will go on that side where they're like, you know what, I'm going to cross all boundaries, and they'll be putting stuff in your food. They'll be using parts of their body for the working. I mean, if you're going to do that, I would just do it on a candle. Some women will use menstrual blood. They'll put it in the food, and the man will eat it. Some men, I've read I don't know if they still do it, but I've read this long time ago. Like, they would do this centuries ago. They'd put, it was either a piece of cheese or a piece of bread under their armpit, and they'd give it to the woman, or use their sweat, or use their semen and different things. Like, it's kind of intense. So if you're going to go that route, I personally wouldn't put it in the person's food, because you actually don't know how their body's going to react. If you're going to go that far, just either make a doll or put it on a candle or something. So let me ingest it in the person's body, because what if their body rejects it? They get sick. I'm just saying. So But that's one form of potions that I don't know if he mentioned it in here, but I'm just letting you know, because people will go so far when it comes to that. Let's see. Polyamory spells. Love runes, if you're into runes. Seals of Venus. There is somebody on Amazon that makes pewter talismans with the seals on them. So if you're interested in having like a metallic talisman already made of these that you can consecrate, I will post in here the Amazon page where it's made. So this looks like the Kabbalah. That's the Hebrew. I think this one, they say that if you get the person to look into it, they will fall in love. Like, you will bring anybody that you desire to you. There's also magical squares. I still don't know how magical squares work. I'm still learning about them. Make a mojo bag. The power of lust. Let's see. In this chapter, he goes into information about raising your sexual energy, your libido. There's aphrodisiacs and virility magic. Some of the herbs he mentions are cayenne, ginger, horny goatweed, yohimbe. Herbs that I would recommend, just personally, for men and women, woman and man, maca. You can use black maca for men, or you can use it for women. Red maca for women or for men. Yohimbe, but only use it if you don't have some type of heart condition, because I think it can stimulate the heart. Kola nut, chocolate, Damiana for both parties. I would say blue lotus, but I think that might relax you. Ashwagandha, but that's because it relieves stress. Horny goatweed, also known as epimedium, tonkadali, rhodiola, shilajit, maybe shilajit. And there's different blends that I think you might want to look into, and I'll post them here. It's just different supplements that I've come across and seen. I'm like, okay, this one will work. This one will probably work. But be sure to consult your doctor before you take any of these supplements. But these are the supplements that I have seen. That I want to show you. So you can go online and buy them if you wish. Okay. It talks about women's libido. Skullcap. I didn't know. Well, I thought skullcap would put you to sleep, because skullcap put me to sleep. You can also make a lust poppet. I've only made a poppet twice in my life. The first poppet I made was with my old best friend, and it worked very fast, but it wasn't to attract, it was to repel someone. The second poppet I made to bring me money. There's also mantras you can use. You can use beauty mantras from different sects of magic. You can use the powers of the earth around you, the powers of trees, the clouds, auric shielding, so many methods. Astrology. But yeah. So I'm not going to go into all of the things that this book says because it is very, very detailed. If I had to give this book a number of how many fudge buckets to give it, I would give it a 5. I'd give it 5 fudge buckets, and I will tell you why. The reason I'm giving it 5 fudge buckets is because even though it's a nice size book, it's not too long, but it's not too short. It's 200, almost 300 pages. It's 270 to 85 pages. The layout was easy to navigate through. He was very detailed with every chapter. It was practical. He also shared different methods you could use to heal from breakups, but also like changing your mindset. You felt like you were truly learning as you read the book. He also gave many tools, whether it was herbal tools, crystals, astrology. It was a variety of things that you could use, a variety of channels that you could use to bring or draw love into your life. It also helps the reader have a better understanding of love and the love that they want. I also thought the cover was really nice. It was a really cute cover. It wasn't too lovey-dovey. It was just auspicious enough for a cover. Because some witches' hearts, like, it's not like, oh, look at me, I'm a cartoon heart. Like, this is the perfect cover for how you would describe a witch's heart. Not too bright, but not too dark, depending on the witch. And I did learn a lot. There were a lot of things that I already knew, but there were other things that when I thought about it, I was like, you know what? That actually makes sense. It was a very healing book, so that's why I give it a 5. It's a great book for beginners, but it's also a great book of reviewing for those who are experienced and need to go back to the drawing board. He doesn't talk down to the reader. He has a nice tone where you're both being taught but also speaking to a friend. So that's why I give it a 5 fudge buckets. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope you have a beautiful Valentine's Day, and I will talk to you later. Bye bye.